Yes guys, how are you all doing? Before we get into today's Chelsea news video, it is the busiest week of Premier League football imaginable. In almost 48 hours, Chelsea play again. So if you haven't yet downloaded Ultimate Fan, then you've got to go and download it. The link is in the description. We've now got a GBFC league as well. I will leave my code on the screen and the link in the description will send you there. After this, I'm going to go and open my packs because I forgot to bloody do it, but I had Mo Salah as my captain and he bagged 2 again. But anyway, link is in the description. It's my season-long partner. It's like FIFA and Fantasy Premier League mixed together. It's a lot of fun. Go and check it out, and let's get into the Chelsea news. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your Tuesday, the 2nd of December dose of Chelsea news. Today, we're going to be talking 3 stories. We're going to be talking Tony Cottee's comments about Declan Rice and predicting that Declan Rice is moving to Chelsea. We're also going to talk about Chelsea's injury crisis because this isn't hyperbole anymore. It's at a point where, after what we saw last night, despite winning, it's a crisis. We're also going to talk Ralf Rangnick and his desire to take Timo Werner from Chelsea, put him in at Manchester United, which I'm not entirely convinced about for many different reasons, but I will give my opinions. And of course, as always, with Chelsea news, ask for yours in the comments down below. Before we begin by talking about Declan Rice, I'm going to take a sip of water because I still haven't really slept since we won last night, which is a bit of a nightmare. It just so happens that having an 8-month-old Dalmatian puppy and his desire to want to run and go crazy everywhere is almost like having a newborn child. Maybe not as intense, but still, he requires a lot of attention and I'm pretty damn tired. So excuse me if I have to sipperoo on the water for a while and keep taking pauses. But we begin by talking about Tony Cottee and his bold prediction that Declan Rice may in fact leave West Ham United to join Chelsea. Tony Cottee said if Declan Rice is likely to leave West Ham, then the destination that he would predict would be to go to Chelsea. He also, in the statement that he made, goes through virtually every other top club in the Premier League and says, well,
yeah, at Man City, Fernandinho is getting on a little bit, and Man United,
he's better than Fred and McTominay at Liverpool.
Yeah, I wonder if they want him. He basically just announced everybody and then said, well, if I had to pick one of them, I think he'd go to Chelsea. Now, we all know, and we've talked about this numerous times here on GBFC, speaking about how Declan Rice, there is a wonderful story to be had if Declan Rice was to ever play for Chelsea Football Club again. Mason Mount's his best friend. He was in the Chelsea Academy. He grew up playing with the Academy players that have grown into this Chelsea first team. Not only that, but he is an option in the number 6 for any of the players who will probably be looking to be shifted out of Chelsea in probably the next 2-3 years. We're talking the likes of Jorginho, N'Golo Kante, who are certainly not getting any younger. Declan Rice, I've said it many, many times, I think it would be a fantastic signing for Chelsea, and even though it's going to be around £100 million for his signature, if we look at West Ham's last couple of performances, don't know if you guys have seen the goal that Brighton scored last night. Neil Maupay scored an incredible overhead kick so that West Ham dropped 2 points at home against Brighton Hove Albion. And then they were beaten last weekend too. They're level on points now. They're in 4th, but they're level with Arsenal. You just wonder if the West Ham decline might be starting. Although I'm not going to say anything about that as a statement. It's just a question because they got Chelsea at the weekend and we saw a little bit of December Chelsea last night and we almost didn't get away with it, but we did. So the concern at this point is West Ham turn around this little blip they're going through right now at the Olympic Stadium come Saturday lunchtime. The games are coming so thick and fast right now. It's probably Thursday afternoon when you're watching this. In 48 hours, Chelsea bloody play again. I don't know how we're going to do this, so I think we should discuss how we're going to do this by moving into the next story and talking about the injury crisis. There is no 3 More Points podcast today because there's just too much to sandwich in between everything, considering the gap between this Watford game and the game against West Ham at the weekend, so I'll do another one after the game against West Ham, combining the 2 matches together with Alex Goldberg from the Gold Line, the Byline podcast. So, it is a crisis. We got no Kante. We got no Kovacic. We got no Jorginho. We've got no Trevoh Chalobah as he went off last night with what looked like a hamstring injury. At the time of recording this video, which is about 9 a.m. UK time, there's no knowledge as to what I know right now as to whether or not Chalobah is going to be out for this game coming up against West Ham, or indefinitely as we move through the December fixtures. There's also no Ben Chilwell until probably early 2022. You got Romelu Lukaku, who, I'm not going to lie, he still doesn't look 100% fit. You got Timo Werner, who really wasn't up to it against United at the weekend. We're going to talk about Werner in a moment. And you also look at Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Saul Niguez, Marcus Alonso, 3 players in particular who last night just weren't at the races in terms of the level that Chelsea have set for themselves this season and what we've come to expect from a Chelsea team. So, this crisis that we speak about, it wasn't a crisis in the point of fan capitulation of the mind last night against Watford. I think if we'd have drawn or even lost, which wouldn't have been unforeseeable considering the way we played, if we wouldn't have won last night, there would have been a bit of a meltdown. And I think it would have been absolutely, you could see it coming because of the standard of the performance on the whole. Hakim Ziyech saved today. If you haven't seen the 6 Things We Learnt video, you should go and check it out. Leave a link in the description. But I am slightly concerned about Chelsea moving forward because the injuries, it's not getting better. We're not hearing that Kovacic is almost ready. We're not hearing that N'Golo Kante is almost ready. I even forgot to mention Reece bloody James when I was going through this astronomical injury list that I mentioned just a couple of moments ago. Chelsea are in a bit of bother. And West Ham, no disrespect to Watford, I thought they actually played very well last night. And I think overall, the results they've had under Ranieri don't really reflect the way that they've been playing. I think they're a good side. West Ham, though, London derby, aspirations to finish top 4, a flailing, let's say bewildered, I guess you could say, Chelsea side by the sheer mass of players that we can no longer choose from. I'm concerned. And I look forward to that West Ham game, and it's for the first time this season that I will say I am genuinely worried about the potential outcome of this game. West Ham, they don't have as many injuries as we do. Our list is piling up and up and up, and it's not going to get any easier. We've got a trip to Zenit coming up next week in the Champions League. This is the reason why I wanted to put this in the news video today, because I wanted to ask the question to you guys. Would you sacrifice winning the Champions League group, considering we are already through, and sending a weakened squad to Zenit St. Petersburg next week? It's not just physical ailments to the body that we've got to worry about here. It's also a trip to bloody Russia. Thank goodness it isn't Eastern Russia, it's St. Petersburg, which is on the west side of the country. I'm seriously thinking that if I was Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea, I'd be looking to send a weakened side to St. Petersburg and Russia to just basically make sure that when it comes to the Boxing Day fixtures, the games a couple days after, we've actually got 11 first-team players to choose from. I'm not saying it is going to get that bad. However, I'm concerned, and I want to know your thoughts on what you want to see from West Ham tomorrow or on Saturday. And obviously my preview will be dropping tomorrow afternoon or after Tuchel's press conference for you guys. But we move into the final story of the day. Ralf Rangnick, who has obviously taken over at Manchester United on a 6-month spell, and he will then go into a 2-year period of consultancy at the club. As we know, Ralf Rangnick has not only been over the course of, well, let's just say quite a few years ago now, but he was a very, very good manager. And he also had a lot to do at RB Leipzig with Timo Werner, and he is wanted now at Manchester United. And a few of you have said in some of the recent news videos that, Benson, you've got to get better sources. I don't have sources. I just look at all of the Chelsea news, discuss it, and create a conversation with you lot. And the thing with this Werner story is that it's being reported by highly reputable German journalists, which does make me a little bit concerned. And here's why. A lot of people have said that Timo Werner isn't good enough for Chelsea. A lot of people have said that Timo Werner is done at Chelsea. If you want to hear me and Football Therapy Jan go into detail about this one, then go and check the last 3 More Points podcast episode from 2 days ago. We go into this in a lot of detail. If Timo Werner was to go to Manchester United, it isn't just me being like, of course he's going to perform. I genuinely think that would be an excellent move for both Timo Werner and Manchester United, which, as a Chelsea fan, wanting to limit the amount of teams that we have in direct competition in this league, Ralf Rangnick wanting Timo Werner being lower and lower and lower every time he plays down Thomas Tuchel's pecking order. Thomas Tuchel not feeling sorry for Timo Werner when he's not getting enough games. It does make me concerned that Timo Werner might A, be looking at this opportunity and thinking, blimey, I can work again with Ralf Rangnick. I can be the man that does the pressing, makes the run so that Cristiano Ronaldo can become 55 years old, never press down and chase after a defender, but stay at Man United and score goals. Timo Werner might be liking this idea. And I personally, if Timo Werner leaves, I would much rather it was back to the Bundesliga. I don't like the idea of him going to Manchester United. And that is just me being selfish, but I genuinely think that A, Werner would be interested. B, Chelsea, if the offer is right from Manchester United, may be willing to accept. And I think it would work too. I think Timo Werner would do very well at Manchester United. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments below. As I said, it is being reported by decent, reputable German sources. Ralf Rangnick, for the next 2.5 years, is going to be at United. And even though it's been kind of ran like a shambles for the past few years, there's no doubt in my mind that he is going to stabilise things at that club. And if they come knocking for players that might be surplus at Chelsea, we've certainly got to be careful as to who it is we let them take hold of. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this today. Thank you for all of the love and support you've been showing on the content for the last few days. Let me know your thoughts on all the stories in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.